Hello, how are you doing? And welcome to another episode of the Dr. Will Show, where we have the discussions that inform, entertain, and challenge educators to be the change. I'm your host, Dr. Will, and today I am here with Asiya Nasir, and we will be talking about the glow up, people. And what I mean by that is, how do you live your best life? How do you get out of your way to make things happen for you? And so this is so awesome because Asiya came onto my radar via LinkedIn. She runs this awesome organization. I've been to her site and some of the things she posts on Twitter, and I really wanted her to be on the show. And alhamdulillah, she said yes. So for those who are watching the show, will you please introduce yourself, Asiya?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Hello. I am Asiya Nasir, as you mentioned, CEO and founder of my nonprofit organization called J.E.S.S.I.C.A Cares. And if anyone goes to the site or they see us on LinkedIn, they see that the J.E.S.S.I.C.A is in acronyms. So many times they want to know what those acronyms mean. So I don't know if you want me to get into that right now or just wanted to say hello.
You can go ahead and get into it.
Okay. Well, the J.E.S.S.I.C.A, it kind of gives you a glimpse of what we're all about. The J.E.S.S.I.C.A in J.E.S.S.I.C A Cares is, as I mentioned, is in acronyms, and it stands for Journey to Becoming an Extraordinarily Strong, Successful Individual with Courageous Aspirations. And that pretty much sums up what our organization is all about. We work with young adolescent girls as well as women. We've expanded our programs to now work with women. And it's all about offering empowerment programs to help our participants and our members to live their best life and to strive to be the best that, person that they can be, regardless of, what faith they come from, but just being the best versions of themselves.
So where did the idea of the nonprofit come from, and what is the work that speaks to your soul?
Well, the J.E.S.S.I.C.A Cares started because I used to work in the corporate world for many years, for over 27 years, and I was in management at major financial institutions. And one of the last banks that I worked for was Investors Bank, and they had all of the managers go through a leadership course. And I really thought it was going to be just, how do you manage well, and how do you manage a successful team. That's what I really thought the class was going to be about. But this particular leadership course was about self-development, personal development. And anyone who's into leadership knows that the more in tune you are with yourself and happy and good with yourself, the better leader that you can be for anyone else. And so it was really about pushing us outside of our comfort zones and making us explore what are our best versions of ourselves. And at the time, I was someone who was really in a bad space, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. I was not in a good place. And I thought to myself, after taking this course, how it made me, reflect and think about a lot of things about my own life. I said, how would this be if we were able to capture girls, young girls, feeling the same way and be able to help them avoid some of the pitfalls that a lot of women do because they have that young girl that hasn't been healed. And so that's what, birthed the nonprofit organization and the whole idea of empowerment and really helping our girls to be able to, live their best versions. And what we found is that there's a lot of girls that are broken. So when you said what speaks to my soul, it's wanting to make broken people whole. And there's a lot of young girls walking around for various reasons, feeling that they're not their best selves. Whether it be because of weight, whether it be because of, broken families, dysfunctional families, molestation, homelessness. There's so many things, and we see with the bullying and so forth, there's so many reasons why girls are feeling broken. And that's what speaks to my soul, is offering empowerment programs that help our girls find those broken pieces and put themselves back together for them to acknowledge what is good in them.
I love that. Now, We hear so many messages, whether it's from family or friends, TV, social media, about what success is supposed to look like. And
Mm-hmm.
I even, will introduce my show, telling people that, we're trying to assist you in becoming the CEO of you.
Right.
What does that mean to you? And how can people actually get out of their own way to live their best life?
It's funny that you asked. I just did a webinar the ending of February, and it was called the 5 steps to getting out of your own way. And I think being the CEO of your life is finding what is it that speaks to your soul, and being able to utilize that, not just for yourself, to be able, because I feel part of leadership and empowerment is not just for you. When you've been gifted with the self-awareness and what makes you the best version of yourself, the next step has to, and it includes empowering other people to do the same thing. So being the CEO of your life is finding what is it that you offer? What is the crucial key skill, talent that God only gave you in the way that you do it, to be able to offer it to the world for other people to benefit from. And I think that a lot of people have that. They just don't tap into it. They don't know what it is. And so they just kind of acquiesce to the social norm, which is I go to college and I get a job, and I retire in so many years, and that's just it. I think getting out of their own way is saying that, what, who's to say that that is the norm? Who's to say that is the norm? And we choose what our norms are, what works for us. If that works for someone, then great. But if being your own and saying, what, the jobs that I'm in or the jobs that are being offered doesn't speak to my soul, doesn't allow me to be the best version of myself, doesn't allow me to express it in the best way that I can, I always say, if you can't find it, then create it. And, that's the first thing that you have to do, is acknowledge the fact that you do have something to offer. And then getting out of your own way is, taking the steps then to bring it to fruition. The first thing is, and me, I prayed about it. And then what I do is I tap into people who are doing and living the life that an expression that I would like to emulate, and then ask them what were the steps that they took, and hear their story, and then make it work for me. How do I fit into what worked for them and make it my own?
Mm. So many of us, myself included, we have these big dreams, but then
Mm-hmm.
we start to get into this negative self-talk.
Yep.
And we don't pursue it, or we put it off.
Right.
Where does this sort of come from, and how can people go beyond the self-doubt, go beyond feeling that they're not good enough, to actually go from thought to action?
There's so many nuances to negative thinking. I mean, there's not just one answer to that. I mean, for different people, it's for different reasons. I know for me, growing up, one of the things, and I know many men and women deal with this, is having some form of trauma happening at some point in their life as a child that made them feel that they were not worthy. That could be not having one of your parents or both your parents, and having a sense of abandonment. And so you feel like you're not worthy of anything good. Maybe you've been a child of molestation, and so you feel that in some way you brought that trauma onto yourself, and so you feel there's something inadequate, deficient in you, and so you feel that no good can come to you. For some, it's living in a dysfunctional environment that does not promote being great. For some of our inner city children, all they see is, being on welfare and having public assistance. And that is the goal, is to be able to just get on public assistance and live comfortable, and that to them is comfortable. So sometimes they don't have that ceiling. That's their ceiling. They don't see beyond that, and that there's more. So sometimes that's what hold people back, and like, I don't know what that looks like. I wouldn't even know how to begin to do that, because no one in my world, in my environment, in my circle has ever done that. So sometimes that's the obstacle. And for some of us, it's the people we choose to hang around with. Sometimes we're around negative people. And because they can't see it, or because they won't manifest greatness in their life, anytime you even mention trying to do something or stepping outside of your comfort zone, it's oh, that's not going to work. This is, you're just dreaming. That's a pipe dream. You're wasting your time. And we feed into that, and we breathe it in, internalize it, and then we make it our voice. And so what we have to stop doing is listen to our own voice. I don't think God puts things in us just for it to be silent and dormant. I think when we have something that just keeps speaking to us over and over, we have to give life to it. We have to give voice to it. And that's one of the ways in saying, you know what, I'm not going to hear what's not working or what I haven't done. What can I do in order to do that? And I've always counseled. I did it myself. I got a business coach. Sometimes you don't know the how to, but you get someone who does know. It's just like if your car breaks down, you're not just going to go get a new car because you got a flat. You're going to go into someone who knows how to do it, take care of it, and then you keep it moving. It's the same thing with our life. If you can't do something, then find the person that has the expertise in it and say, look, hey, I need some tips. I need some help. And humbling yourself to be able to say, I'm teachable. And learn the tools in which to get out of your own way, to be able to, stop the negative talk and hear, what can I do? What is it that I do have in my life that can enable me to move forward?
So I want to throw this out there to you because a lot of people find solace in faith, but don't necessarily step out on faith.
Yep.
Where do you see faith being a catalyst, a part of people actually becoming centered and being able to move forward, to take that step in the direction that they want?
That's a great question. We often hear, knowledge is power, right? You hear that all the time. Knowledge is only that. Knowledge is only information if you do nothing with it. Power is what you do with the knowledge that you have. So when you say faith, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, we all believe the same thing, that faith without works is dead. There's nothing good that comes from it. No one's benefiting from the knowledge that you have. So if you believe, and what, like I said, no matter what religion you believe in, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, we all believe that there is a creator. We all believe in God. And when you look at his creation, all you have to do is look at his creation, and you know what he is so capable of. So if you are serving, and if you say you have faith in a can God, there's nothing that he cannot do, then you can't walk around with a can't attitude. You can't walk around with, I can't do this and I can't do that, because if you're serving the source of what is all being, all encompass, then if you're serving that and you're believing that and your faith is that, then it's almost like an oxymoron. Then how do you turn around and say, well, I can't do this and I can't do that? You put your intentions out there, you take the necessary steps that is within your power to do, and then you let your faith and who you believe in be able to, which is God, to take care of the outcome. And I think that's where faith comes in. We have this deficient attitude of the one who is with no deficiency. We have this limited attitude towards the one who is limitless. So if we take off the cap that we have on our faith and let it be what it is, and who it is, then there's no limits. There's no limits. And that's where real faith is not what is already seen. It's what is unseen, and it'll manifest through your faith. Then people can see your faith through your life, because that's where it stemmed from. It stemmed from your faith in the Creator. If that makes sense to you.
Yes, subhanAllah. Yes, I'm over here going like, whoo, I need to hear you speak in person.
But this is what I share with my girls, and that's what, when they say I believe in God, and there's a difference between saying I believe in God and I believe God. That's two different things. People say I believe in God. So if God says, put your faith in me, put your trust in me, seek refuge in me, if you believe what he's saying, then why are you walking around with this, oh, this is not going to happen, this can't happen? He says he is the source of where your blessings flow. So if that's where your source is, and you say you believe in the one who said it, then you have to believe everything that he says. So and that's, I ask people that all the time, is, do you believe in God, or do you believe him? Because some people believe in him, but they don't necessarily have faith in what he says and his promises.
Okay, now they plot and they plan. God plans and man plans, and God is the best of all
Best
planners.
of planners. That's right. Absolutely. He is the best of planners. And that's why sometimes people lose faith too, because they feel like, well, I prayed about it and it didn't happen right away. Allah never told us that he's going to answer our prayer the next day. He said he would answer our prayer, and he didn't always say that it would come in the form in which we asked it. So if you believe in God, we say Allah knows best. Well, if something then doesn't come to us, then it's okay. I'm sufficed with what he's removed from me, because he says that he will give me something better. So that means I just have to be patient and wait for that better to come. Maybe he's preparing me for that better. Maybe I need to work a little bit more in order to be prepared for that thing that he has for me. So it's really believing in what he's saying and trusting that he does know best, and that he is planning. He's the planner of your life, and he's the best planner of your life. And when you become okay with that, things that normally would be a disappointment, it's just like, okay, there must be something that he knows that I don't know. And I have to be patient and wait and ask for clarity, ask for guidance, ask for his infinite wisdom. Those are the things. And I've lived it. Being an entrepreneur, I think you don't have a choice, but to really put your faith and say, okay, this didn't turn out the way I thought. And every time I've done that and I've waited, something better always came, and that was the aha moment. Like, that's why that didn't work out. That's why he removed that from me. So it's really putting that trust, and in Islam we call it tawakkul. Having full tawakkul in Allah. And when you have that, there's a peace. There's an inner peace that comes with what other people would say is a disappointment or a letdown. There's a peace that comes with things that don't come your way, because you know that it's a protection in some way, shape, or form, even if you don't know exactly how at first.
Okay. Woo. Tell you, boy, that's powerful right there. I caught some chills. So I want to throw this out there to you, because once people, I've had people on my show who have talked about vision boards, and I have read on Twitter in which you have written or spoken about vision boards. How does someone, because I was interviewing someone else, and they said, well, okay, you need to write down what you want to happen. Because until you write it down, you won't see it. You won't have a sense of clarity and understanding of where you want to go. How does someone begin that practice of creating a vision board? Is it, I'm going to cut out magazine pictures and posters on a board? Or is it as simple as putting pen to paper or typing on a document to say, within the next 3 years, I want this to happen, or by the end of the year, I want my life to look like this?
That's the beauty of a vision board. It's your vision. It can be however you want it to be. It's simple, complex, with bells and whistles. It's whatever you envision. And I think that's the problem with society. When you were asking the question, what do we do to get out of our own way? We have to stop putting ourselves in a box. That what fits you fits me. I'm a circle, but you want me to fit in this square. Or, I'm a square and you want me to fit in this circle. The beauty that we learn from Allah is that he did create us all different, so that way we can learn from one another and benefit from one another. But serving him is what brings us together. So we have to stop trying to impose what works for me on you. So when I do the vision boards, and what I would tell anyone who's looking to do a vision board is, it's your vision. If you want it to be very simple, it can. And if you look at some of the most successful people in their professional life, you look at Bruce Lee, or you look at Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was a child, and all he wrote on a piece of paper was, I want to be the greatest entertainer in the world. That was his vision. That simple. He wrote it, put it on his dresser, and that's exactly what he became. So it can be as creative as you want it to be, and which is cutting out magazines, or some people have a vision board on their computer. They have pictures that pop up about their vision, and it's every time they sign on their computer, their vision pops up. So it can be however you want it to be. And I think that is part of the vision, is letting it know that vision can change. What's your vision today may not be your vision in 5 years. You may accomplish some of those things and need to add some new goals and things like that. So it's constantly, and we as individuals are always evolving as humans. We're constantly evolving. So your vision is going to change. And if you're open to change, which is life, if you're open to change, your vision will change, and no one can impose, this or that on you. It's your vision. It's what Allah has put in you. As your vision, and own it, claim that this is my vision. You don't have to, like it or agree with it. This is what works for me, and this is what motivates me. This is what inspires me.
All right, now, before we go, I want to ask you for your call to action, because my audience is teachers. And quite honestly, there's a lot out there. They're fed up. There's a lot of focus on testing, and you have student behavior. They feel lack of support from parents and administrators. And then they look at their check at the end of the month and they're like, but they love
what they do.
And so they don't leave. They keep putting in the work every day, but they still feel stuck, and they don't know if what they do matters. What is your call to action to them to become, I guess, reassured in the work they're doing, and to feel more rooted in what they're doing, and to encourage them to keep pushing?
Well, I'm listening to that question, and I have various answers to it. For one, when you're not in a position to change a whole system, you can change what happens in your classroom. How you bring out the best in your students. That's done. You get to choose that. You can't, to a certain extent, you can't change right away. Anyway, I wouldn't say you can't change, but you may not be able to change right away how the whole school system is done. But every day that you go into that classroom, how you teach your children, how you teach your students, how you inspire your students, how you bring out the best in them, how you motivate them, that really is up to you, and you have total control over that. And even if your one classroom is so motivating to them that it impacts everything else that they do in their academic life as well as their personal life, that lets you know that you matter. That lets you know that you matter. When your students say, I love coming to your class, this is the only reason why I come to school is because I love coming to your class, you know you're making an impact on that child, even if it's only your class. So I would encourage teachers that if you love what you're doing, don't silence that. Don't let anyone silence that. Continue to bring that love and that passion for your students into your classroom. So that way, if you're the only light that they have at school, let it be you then. Maybe you're the answer to their prayer. Maybe, and so I would encourage that. Second, I would say, if I'm feeling this way, then I know there's other teachers feeling this way. Get the teachers that feel this way together and create what's called a mastermind group, and come together and say, how can we evoke change? What cause can we champion for our students, for other teachers, and learn, what I don't know, this other person knows. Who I don't have resources to, this other teacher has resources to, or they're related to someone who has it. And create a mastermind group to really become the change agent. You know, I think the problem with everyone is, and this is one of the reasons why I started my nonprofit, is everyone's always looking for somebody else to be like that Messiah. You know, we all know what the problem is, but we're waiting for someone to be the change agent. You have to, if you see the problem, then maybe that's why it was you that saw it, because Allah knows that you have it within you to evoke the change. So get other people who are like-minded, who wants to see a change in the school system, want to do more for their students, want to take away from all the testing, get the statistics, get the information, and then create that mastermind group to say, look, this way is not working, but this way is working. And I've always said that, and people have done it. If you're somewhere, you don't have to feel stuck. Again, you don't have to be put in a box. Create your own school, whether it's homeschooling, whether it's an after-school program, whether it's this. You can create an environment that says, look, we may not be in charge of this, but this we've put together, and this is the alternative. This is the option to what is the status quo. And that's what I would encourage, you know, teachers to do. If you can't make the change, then be the change.
I'm telling you, this has been an awesome day. I love this podcast interview. It's been empowering and inspirational. And I hope that those who listen to it will feel what I have today, and will hopefully begin taking that first step.
Yes.
In making things happen in their life. Again, Asiya, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show.
Thank you for having me. I've appreciated being on the show, and I love your questions. They were so in depth and really brought a lot to the table. I really appreciate being on your show.
Well, thank you. Alhamdulillah. As always, people, you know how I do this. The video cast will be going up on YouTube. I want you to subscribe and leave your comments. The podcast will be going on iTunes and SoundCloud. Again, I need you to subscribe and leave some comments. Your boy's trying to get Oprah on the show. So
that's right.
Need y'all to
see,
show
that's your vision. That's your vision. And tag her on stuff. If you're on social media, tag Oprah on it. Let her know I'm trying to get on your show. Can't get on it if she don't know.
I've done it a couple of times. I
keep doing it. Keep doing it. Eventually, she's gonna be like, "Who is this Will? I got to meet this Mr. Will."
I hope so, inshallah, because I would like to.
Inshallah.
I love you. The one thing I love her about is, aside from her, being very positive. And loves to educate people to reach their higher selves. I love her business acumen.
Yeah.
Some people would be okay. A lot of people would be okay with Weight Watchers or someone throwing them some, millions of dollars to, hey, be in some commercial. Oprah said, no.
Yep.
I gotta own some.
That's right. That's right.
I said, ooh, that's a power move. Oh,
yes. And when you think about it, this was the other thing. They said that she's a billionaire, right?
Yes.
She still signs her own checks. She does not have a bookkeeper or an accountant that does that. She's still in control of watching what's under her umbrella. I love it. I love it.
No doubt. She's awesome. And so
yes, she is.
Trying to, inshallah, get her on my show.
Inshallah. Just keep making dua about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it happen. So again, thank you so much for being a guest on the show.
Thank you.
I'm going to put on how people can get in contact with you via social media as well. And so I'm very excited about it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Will.
You are welcome, people. Well, I say you are welcome. Again, people, invest in you, EDU, peace.